Listen, for years, Hollywood's been on fire with people knowing the truth about 9/11, and I was the first to expose 9/11 on the day. In fact, 2 months before, I had intel that elements of the military-industrial complex were going to carry out the attack. I said they'll use bin Laden, the known CIA asset, as their patsy to take the blame for attacking the towers.
Again, I was on television saying that bin Laden's a CIA asset and looks like he'll attack New York.
And I was the first to expose 9/11.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad that you could join us today for this Wednesday, July 25th, 2001 broadcast. And the United States is a shining jewel the globalists want to bring down, and they will use terrorism as the pretext to get it done. So that's coming up in the second half of the show. Very important. If any terrorism comes, it's from this government. And if there was an outside threat like a bin Laden, who was a known CIA asset in the 80s, running the Mujahideen war, and whose family builds all the military bases over in Saudi Arabia right now, and sits on the board of Iridium Satellite, he's the boogeyman they need in this Orwellian phony system.
And I was the first to expose 9/11 on the day. In fact, 2 months before, I had intel that elements of the military-industrial complex were going to carry out the attack. I said they'll use bin Laden, the known CIA asset, as their patsy.
The things that makes everybody wonder why Bill's life was snuffed out in 2001 was because in June of that year, Osama bin Laden, who was a relative unknown at that time, Bill had been following the news and found a lot of curiosities and went on the air predicting that there would be a major attack in the United States and that it would be blamed on Osama bin Laden, but he was literally the scapegoat that was being used, not truly behind the attacks. So that, I mean, just a few months before the events of September 11th, and then of course Bill's life cut short shortly thereafter.
Supposedly, a CNN reporter found Osama bin Laden, took a television camera crew with him, went into Osama bin Laden's hideout, interviewed him and his top leadership, and he came out and told everybody, within 3 weeks, Osama bin Laden is going to attack the United States and Israel. Now, don't you think that's kind of strange, folks? You see, because the largest intelligence apparatus in the world, with the biggest budget in the history of the world, has been looking for Osama bin Laden for years and years and years, and can't find him. Some doofus jerk-off reporter with a camera crew waltzes right into his hideout and interviews him. And I'm telling you, be prepared for a major attack. But it won't be Osama bin Laden. It will be those behind the New World Order. I wonder what Osama bin Laden's targets are supposed to be. And if they don't, if this doesn't materialize in the next 2 or 3 weeks, it will eventually materialize because they haven't succeeded in getting the guns out of the hands of the American people, nor have they succeeded in taking our freedoms away. And so I can tell you with a certainty, they must do something terrible in order to stop this backlash and regain the sympathy of the mass herds of sheeple out there. Before we get started, I have to clear up a little discrepancy here. Apparently the other night, or within the last week, because I've been getting a lot of email about this, and I even received one telephone call. Apparently somebody called the Alex Jones broadcast and asked him why he didn't have me on the air, or asked him something about me. Alex Jones said he had me on the air once before, several years ago, and had to cut me off the air because of the foul language that I used. So on the air tonight, I'm going to tell you, Alex Jones, You are a bold-faced, miserable, coward liar. The most disgusting broadcast he ever did was on New Year's Eve, the year 2000. The New Year's Eve, 1999, bringing in the year 2000, which he went completely out of his mind and claimed that Russia had launched intercontinental ballistic missiles with multiple warheads at the United States of America and actually panicked millions of people who were putting their children and their belongings in their cars and heading for the hills. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all I have to say about Mr. Sensationalist, lying, rumor-mongering, bullshit artist, Alex Jones. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Cooper.
Hi.
Listen, that Alex Jones interview was directly after you published the Veritas June 26, 1998 issue about the Cooper family being targeted by the feds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah,
And
back in 1990. Did he kick me off the air?
No, he's a liar, and you've pointed it out, and I heard that interview, and you were nothing but cordial.
Yeah. Well, that's the truth.
That's the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia.
Bye-bye.
Boy, you know, all of these people ought to know better than to mess with me, because I don't take any crap from anybody. And if I'm not afraid of the whole machinations of the entire government Gestapo, what in the hell makes Alex Jones think that I would ever be afraid of his cowardly little rotten butt? Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to let you know I verify what you said about that Alex Jones interview. They had it archived on the internet at one time, and I did hear that interview, and there was nothing wrong with what you did.
And I wasn't thrown off the air, was I?
Not a bit.
No. And that's the only interview I ever did with Alex Jones. As soon as I found out what he was doing and who he really was, he's called me back at least 100 times since then, and I've always told him to take a hike.
But I had to hang up on the guy and delay him out because there's no point in letting him put out his COINTELPRO. What's COINTELPRO? According to FBI records, COINTELPRO resources were expended on infiltrating, disrupting, marginalizing, and/or subverting groups suspected of being subversive. I can't tell you how many times I've just gone to any political event.
Constantly put on the defensive against the federal government. Every single time. Be it the FCC coming to town and trying to shut down our local micro broadcaster. Be it the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration coming to town and trying to shut down and train the police officers to do blood withdrawals. Be it the DATF now.
That's an example of COINTELPRO. Here's another great example of COINTELPRO.
You are not going to get away with your activities. You are not going to get away.
Hey, ladies, the Second and First Amendment. Get the hell out of my face.
I'm here to tell you right now that we are not your property.
You're not part of the team.
Right now.
You're not part of the team.
I mean, I almost started crying last night when I was at that demonstration. And I saw these families bringing their children up to me for me to shake their hand, and I just look at their innocence.
He's trying to take over our rally that a lot of people worked on.
Is that once they cause all the infighting and division and problems, then everyone spends their time on that, and then you can't expand your organizations.
All right, is the freedom movement divided in Austin? Somebody doesn't want to fight now.
And every time I go to a big city and see provocateurs, I've seen it in Austin.
Are you ready to step down? You're a provocateur!
That's COINTELPRO, playing that against people, creating racial division, infiltrating groups, trying to radicalize them, trying to get people to commit acts of violence so they can put them in prison.
You have never had more solid evidence that Alex Jones is working for the bad guys than right here, right now. Because what he's doing, he's coming to a peaceful rally. He's trying to stir up violence.
They want to radicalize mainline libertarians, conservatives, so we can be politically demonized, so we don't become mainstream and take our country back.
Us look like lunatics. Number one. Number two, he gets us divided amongst ourselves.
The reason I know is my dad came to the protest, and I didn't notice him. Because the whole time I was there, I had like COINTELPRO poking me and getting in my face. They send in people to cause violence. They spread lies about you.
I'm here being friendly.
We wanted to give you a speaking spot, but instead of working with us, you started yelling on
Well, you said it earlier, you're afraid of the enemy. That's a diversion. That's a diversion. Pure diversion. Wow. That's guilty. If you're not, that's guilty. That's guilty.
And now you are acting like it's appropriate to just come in here and climb right on top of us.
Don't worry.
Like
COINTEL. Exactly like COINTEL. City Austin.
So you should be lifting us up and empowering us instead of holding us.
I wasn't lifted up or empowered.
When you see them demonizing people like Ron Paul, myself, and others, you know it is a COINTELPRO operation. We, the patriots, the constitutionalists, we're the good guys. We're trying to save the republic. And anybody that stands against that is a treasonous, traitorous, larcenous enemy of humanity. Period.
Either you're with us or you're with the enemy. There's no in between. You're either with us or you're with the enemy. That's clear.
But getting back to COINTELPRO, infiltrate your group, and we need to incite violence to run off reasonable pacifists in your group, and so we can have you arrested and, quote, break up your group. They also want to radicalize the message. Get up! Get moving! Get moving, soldier! Defend the republic!
No! You had to move it! No! He was to put us in camp! Yeah, that was fine! She wants to put us in camp. She wants to put us in camp.
You know you are good. You know, listening, that you're not COINTELPRO. Because that's how COINTELPRO works so well. I'm the real thing. Do you have any discernment out there? I have more than a hatred for them. I have a disgust, a disdain, a tectonic, titanous, explosive anathema. They are anathema. It's not even that I hate them or are disgusted. I want to be away from them. I don't like them. I don't like looking at them. I don't like hearing them. I don't like all their tics and all their enjoyment of petty power. I hate their worldliness. I hate their pettiness. I hate the fact that they don't enjoy beauty or decency or honor or I just can't believe we are this low to let this type of worthless trash run things, this type of innocence-destroying, decency-destroying. Ugh, it's just, ugh. It hurts my soul, folks. And my spirit just rises up against them to just a level. I just want to get my hands around their throats. You want to get down to the bottom line. And you know, they feel the same. They don't like us. They want to get their hands around our throats, too. And they are. Every day you drink that damn tap water. Every day you shoot your kids up and eat the GMO food. And they're just going to go on hurting us and killing us and screwing us and lying to us. And I'm sick of it. And they take our normal instincts of manhood and valor and honor, and they twist it and use it for their own aims. They got the best of us working for them. It's a load of crap. Let's take another call. I just swear on the altar of God that we're going to beat you. I swear I'm going to do whatever it takes to beat you. And the people out there are making that oath as well.